Ready to go.
Okay. Good morning, everybody, and welcome back. Today we're working on this little Craftsman chainsaw. It looks like she's been sitting for a while, and she's probably got the normal problems. Carburetor's probably gummed up to no end, fuel lines might be bad, fuel filter might need replaced, but we're going to get into it and see what it's got. So let's get started. Okay, let's get started. When I got it, the cover was on, and it has all its screws, but it wasn't screwed down to the machine, so it looks like it's been tinkered with quite a bit. So let's open her up and see what we've got. Okay, job one, get the air cleaner out of the way. And the air cleaner is part of the throttle on this one. So let me unhook that. We'll pull her off to the side. At least I think we will. Let's just leave her right here for now. And let's get a look. Now this backing plate does not appear to be the original one for this carburetor. I'm not real sure. But in any case, this has obviously been fiddled with to no end. So we're going to go ahead and pull the carburetor off and throw a new one on to start. So let's get the carburetor out of the way and have a look at the fuel lines. And remember, when you're fooling with a chainsaw or a weed eater or anything, any two-stroke motor, you want to crack the gas cap and make sure that there's no pressure in the fuel system before you get started. In this case, the fuel system is completely empty. There's no gas in it, so that'll make life a little easier for us. We don't have to worry about gas leaking when we take it apart. Okay, there's one. Let's get the other fuel line out of there. There's two, and she should let go. And there you go. You can see this carburetor. I don't even know what to say about this. It's very not correct. The only thing we're going to save on it is a little rubber boot. We're going to throw this part away. This one is originally a Zama. Let's find the number. I'll find the number and put it up on the screen later. I want to say it's a 26, but I could be wrong. Okay, since this carburetor has this little wonky thing on it, we've established that we're going to go ahead and replace it. And after looking it up, we've discovered it's a Zama C1M W26. So we went searching for C1M W26 and we found this. And it's only $19 and it's a tomorrow thing. So what we're going to do is sit and compare it visually, one step at a time. We're looking for fuel line location, here and here. We're looking at linkage, the all-important linkage. We're looking at the adjustment controls. And most important, we're looking at this because that's important. The way the second barrel opens is a make or break on one of these. So we're going to scroll through this, and there's a good picture of it. And you can see the linkage is identical, save for this little brass bar that I'm sure was bolted on later. And, well, where'd my picture go? There you go. And looking at it from the other angle, the linkage is identical all the way around because this is where your choke would go. So we know we've got the right one. So it's just a matter of waiting until tomorrow for it to arrive. We're going to go ahead and order it. But remember, all these things are important. You got to make sure your choke works, your fuel lines are in the right place, everything's identical. This, there's no way to get that one absolutely correct because we don't have something good to work with. But on yours, you've probably got a factory carburetor that hasn't been fooled with, so that's not a problem. You can visually match it. Okay, we're back and we've got a more proper carburetor for this. You can see the linkage compared to the old one. This appears to be homemade, but that's what it's supposed to look like for this particular carburetor. So let's get her together. We still got our old gasket, and that's still okay. Let's get the carb on and see what we've got. People make working on chainsaws overly complicated, when if you're working on yours at home, you're really faced with two choices. 90% of the time you're going to have a fuel line or a carburetor issue. So the question is, do you rebuild or replace? If you're a homeowner doing this, I strongly recommend replacing the carburetor. As you can see, we're not putting a lot of effort into this so far. This is going pretty well, and I really expect her to start in just a couple of minutes here. Let's clear that out. There is a lot of fiddling, and the chokes and the fuel are different on every one of them. So you want to make sure you get that right, and take lots of pictures when you're taking it apart. Take a picture of it completely untouched, and then a picture every couple of minutes or every time you make a step when you're putting it together. Or something like this, where you say, where did the accelerator cable attach? It's pretty obvious if you do it a lot. If you don't do it a lot, it'll be a complete mystery. And this simple little part here will turn into 20 minutes of fooling around. Okay, that's that. And we dropped the choke lever. Let me find that. Okay, we got the choke lever. I leave these off more often. These are my kryptonite, the little choke levers. I'll bolt everything together, and then I'll look at it and see the choke lever sitting on the bench next to it and go, ah. Okay, that should just about do it. Let's see how everything sits. Okay, everything seems to operate correctly. So let's get the bolts back on, put a little gas in there, see what we got. This might be the fastest little chainsaw in Texas. Or at least the fastest little chainsaw repair in Texas. Spark plug looks pretty new on it. And don't use a screw gun unless you're super familiar with the screw gun and it's got the ability to do this. I always start them off very gently, and at this, see, I can stop it with my hand. So if it cross threads, it won't tear the threads all up. Make sure the choke works correctly. Yep, everything looks good. So let's put her on the floor, put a little fuel in her, and see what we've got. I switched you off to the little tripod so you can see what I was doing here, because I'm sure we're going to have to do some adjustments on this one. So we're going to go full choke. That looks pretty good. You can see one accelerator at all though. So we're going to go to the high side, which is the one farthest from the motor. Oh, that was a little much, wasn't it? And what we're doing is we're allowing more fuel in on the high side. Now the idle's just a touch high. Okay, so all she needs now is an idle adjustment and she's good to go. That came out really nice. If you're replacing your carburetor, remember, take a lot of pictures at a lot of angles when you're taking it apart, because a chainsaw is not as obvious as a blower or a weed eater or a lawnmower. There's a lot of details going on in there. So, all you new people out there, if you made it this far, you might as well subscribe. It's free, and it's what we're working for. So, thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.